Ever wanted to play a vampire in Warcraft? Well, then roll a Blood DK or a Shadow Priest. They're pretty similar. WoW doesn't really have vampires, but they do have this little race known as the Darkfallen, who are basically undead blood elves who resemble vampires, have abilities similar to vampires, and sparkle like real vampires. There's also the Nathrezim, more commonly known as Dreadlords, who are inspired by some vampiric fantasy tropes, except they don't sparkle, so they're automatically less cool than the Darkfallen. Oh, what's that, you say? Real vampires don't sparkle? Well, I'm a fan of Twilight, you see, and one of the biggest reasons I'm a fan is because people hate Twilight with a passion. It's a nearly universal hate, and I've pretended to like Twilight for so long because it's such an easy way to get a reaction out of people that I actually don't mind it now. I guess there's truth to the whole fake it till you make it mantra. By the way, my favorite Twilight character is Jasper. He's the best. First off, we'll start with a Dreadlord. Let's say varimathas for number 10. A little more info on Dreadlords for all you non-lore nerds out there. Their demonic magics can drain the life of their victims, and they have been reported to devour the souls of their slain victims. They prefer to work from the shadows, corrupting slowly, as opposed to assaulting their enemies directly. Dreadlords were immortal before it was cool, as they are some of the earliest creatures to have their souls tethered to the twisting nether in lore, and can't really die. Although, this had more to do with their vampiric roots and being really hard to kill for good, rather than the retcon that all demon souls are now tied to a twisted nether like Archimonde. Now, what about varimathas? Well, he's got enough lore for a 30-minute Noble 87 video, if he hasn't done one already. But the gist of it is, he's joined up with Sylvanas when she formed the Forsaken as second in command and held influence within the Forsaken. It was said that two factions existed in Undercity, those loyal to Sylvanas and those under the influence of varimathas. Then in wrath, he betrayed Sylvanas with a faction of undead loyal to him and was responsible for the Wrathgate fiasco. Then, he was killed by Thrall and friends in Undercity during one of the best quests in the game. As to whether he's dead is up to Blizzard and their whims, but most likely he's probably chilling out in the Twisted Nether. Number 9 is Prince Taldaram. He's the second boss in Ahn'kahet, and I think he's one of the bosses in the Blood Council fight. I don't know. I mean, I do know, since I'm writing this script while researching him, but I'm feigning ignorance. During his fight in the dungeon, he uses an ability called Embrace of the Vampire, with the word vampire spelled wrong because I think he's illiterate or something. It's an ability where he jumps to a target and attempts to drain their life force. Very vampire-like, and won't stop until he takes a certain amount of damage. His only other ability isn't very vampire-y, so it's unimportant. Oh, look here. While researching this guy, it turns out he is one of the bosses in the Blood Council fight in ICC. Let's take a look at his abilities. Holy shit, glittering sparks. Did I say he was number 9? I meant number 1. Prince Taldaram is number 1. He's the only true vampire in WoW as he actually sparkles. Alright, now that we know what number 1 is, I need to pick a new number 9. Let me see. Well, the other two vampires in this list don't have Twilight-like abilities, so I guess I'll make them 9 and 8. Now, what order should I put them in? It doesn't really matter. The only numbers that actually matters are numbers 10, 1, and 2. Everything else can literally be in a random order. Oh shit, did I just give out the secret to making top 10 videos? Forget I said that. In this heavily edited video where I typed that out, recorded the lines for it, and put appropriate imagery to match what's being said. It was totally a mistake. Number 9, Prince Keleseth. You know what, I should probably just give a little background info on who the Darkfallen are, since this list will pretty much just be them and Dreadlords. Back in Warcraft 3, when Illidan and Kel'Thas went to Northrend to kill the Lich King, they lost and ran away. Arthas then raised the strongest of the Blood Elves from Kel'Thas's ranks, and those are pretty much the Darkfallen. Prince Keleseth appears as a quest giver in the DK starting zone, and appears in quests for RP events in the Howling Vajord. He also appears as the first boss in Utgard Keep, and is one of the bosses in the Blood Council fight. It would seem like he's a pretty important dude considering how much he shows up in game, but he's not really. He's more like a reoccurring minor character. Number 8, Prince Valanar. In addition to being the third of the bosses from the Blood Council fight, he's also the target of a very long quest chain in the Boran Tundra, at the end of which he's a pretty difficult fight to do at level. without heirlooms of course. He also appears in the Death Knight starting zone and gives a speech about how awesome the Lich King army is. Number 7. Vampire Bats. Fun fact, the Vampire Bats in the Undead starting zone used to actually stun you, making them kinda annoying. They also had the only ranged stun pet ability as an option for hunters who tame them, making them a viable option in PvP. You know, back when hunter pets had fun abilities, and not just stupid buffs. And for some reason you can feed them fruit and fungus in addition to meat. So hunter pet bats are like hybrid fruit vampire bats. Another fun fact, the bats that work with the Forsaken can actually understand the common language, but can't speak it, making them somewhat intelligent. They also like blood. Number 6. Let's see, number 6. How about Tichondrius? He's a super important Dreadlord. Tichondrius is the strongest and leader of the Nathrezim. He was the ruler over them back when they corrupted Sargeras, so it could be argued that he is indirectly the cause for all the evil that has happened in Warcraft. He killed Uther, ordered the invasion and destruction of Quel'Thalas with the Lich King as his pawn, summoned Archimonde into the world, used the Skull of Gul'dan to corrupt Felwood, and was then killed by Illidan after he absorbed the power of the skull. Pretty important guy, lots of lore behind him. Number 5. Let's go with another Darkfallen. Tenris Mirkblood. This guy was an event boss during the Wrath of the Lich King pre-launch event in Karazhan. What's interesting about this guy is that he dropped the Arcanite Ripper, the axe that lets you pretend you're playing a guitar. This thing goes for a hefty price in the black market auction house, and is rare as shit since it only dropped from this limited time event. Number 4. Mal'Ganis. Mal'Ganis is probably the most well-known Dreadlord, as he's the one who plagued a bunch of cities in a successful attempt to goad Arthas into becoming the Lich King. As soon as he accomplished his task of turning Arthas into the Lich King, he was then killed by him. Well, not really. He actually survived and took control of the Scarlet Onslaught. Then, during a quest chain in Wrath, you fish him out and send him back to the Nether. Number 3. Prince Sandoval. At the end of the Battle of Valhalla's quest chain, Prince Sandoval will come out of ICC to fight you himself. But what's cool about this guy is one of his abilities is called Ember Showers, which looks really similar to how the vampires sparkle in Twilight, so I just had to put him high on the list. You know, because I give extra points to Twilight references. You know, because it pisses people off. Seriously, you should take a look at the dislikes from this video right now. I'm pretty sure it's higher from all the pro-Twilight nonsense I muttered at the beginning. It's funny how much people hate Twilight. Number 2. The Blood Queen herself, Blood Queen Lana'Thel, leader of the WoW Vampires, and has the most vampire-inspired boss fight in the game. In her fight, she'll literally turn you into a vampire, and you get a sweet damage buff. But you must fight your fellow raid members to satisfy your newfound bloodlust every minute. But if you fail to satisfy your bloodlust, you go crazy and attack your own raid. It's such a great fight from a thematic point of view, just like Sindragosa. ICC is probably one of the best raids ever made. Now, before Lana'Thel became an undead vampire, she was actually the wielder of a legendary weapon, the Quell Dalar. When Kael'thas and Illidan took her to Northrend to fight the Lich King and lost, she got lost in the retreat and was hunted down by the Lich King. She tried fighting him, legendary weapon versus legendary weapon, but Frostmourne was just way better, and he won easily. After she was killed and then raised as the Blood Queen, she shattered her blade and flung it away as hard as she could. In Wrath, you could recover the hilt and put it back together. I should probably mention it wasn't really a legendary weapon, more of a well-known weapon, as when you put it together it's just an epic quality weapon, but then again so was the Corrupted Ashbringer. That doesn't make it any less notable. Alright, and that's it. I already went over the number 1. It's Sparkle Vampire Prince Taldaram.